Mr. DJ, can you hear me?
Hey guys, it's JD coming to you, the mobile trader, and we're the Mobile Trader Network. Just left the Zoom, or actually left Clubhouse. Today is Father's Day, June 20th, 2021. What time is it? I'm out here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's 5:12. Uh, is it Mountain Time? Whichever it is. But all right, so we're looking at the SPY right now, S&P 500, the ETF. I've drawn a trend line on the bottom part. I think I'm sharing. Make sure I'm sharing the screen. If anyone has a stock they want me to take a look at, I'll do a technical analysis of it and then just go ahead and unmute and we'll go with that. And,
Mr. DJ,
hey,
can you hear me?
Sylvia.
Hi, I just want to say this. My son's first question was, is he on Earth or on the moon? When he saw you,
This gonna
your,
be this is the moon. I'm in the.
your background anyway. I
I,
just
I
thought
love space,
that
so
was
that's my big.
hilarious.
That's one of my favorite backgrounds.
Yeah. I have DEA, and this is a stock that I've been watching for the past 2 weeks. I came across it. I don't know if one of the analysts kind of it
Okay.
was neutral, so I think it's a REIT and it has a good dividend. So
Okay. Perfect. Um, if that's gonna be, if that's gonna govern your, I guess your move into that particular stock. If it's a dividend play, well, let me pull something up. I'll show you guys a website that I go to. One of the, let me pull up. I don't want this my charts to freeze on us, but let me show you guys what Investors Business Daily looks like when I go there. And there's a thing with a lot. You can do a quick analysis of it, of the fundamentals. So DEA, Easterly Government Properties, and I think the REITs, there's going to be some headwinds, but there's going to be some recovery because as we reopen, but there's something I hadn't researched it fully. There's going to be a little bit of a reckoning because uh, there's been a lot of safety nets for the renters, but for landlords and holders of the notes, when these I guess forbearance setups kind of end, there may be a little bit of a drawdown, and we might start to see it now because I see the volume increasing to the down on a downward pressure. So, um, and right now, the accumulation distribution rating is a D minus on here. I don't know if you guys can see it on my screen, but that doesn't mean don't I don't want you to investigate further and hop into it. But just off of my look on the chart, um, the only thing that's going to really give you comfort is going to be that dividend. Let me pull up on FinViz. I can see what that dividend is going to be per quarter. And this is finviz.com that I'm going to. It's the free site. We can upgrade to elite, but I don't need that because I get the quotes. I get my intraday quotes, real-time quotes from TD Ameritrade. So you just have to deal with a little bit of that, of the dividend right here. It's going to be a yearly dividend of $1.04. And
Connecting your business to
just close that down. So that dividend's $1.04. If you're comfortable with that, um, the chart for me is a no go if I were to just look at it strictly off of from a technical standpoint. And this is the daily. I'll go to the weekly. It's been a little bit of a trading range for some time. Support down at 18, 19, 20. Where are we at? 21. It. Uh, I'm I'm very not a fan of it, but I don't know much about this particular stock, Sylvia. So I would trust you on your assessment because you're something moved you to that. Your instincts were, put you there. Um, so let me know. I wish I had a better answer for you. Sometimes, I mean, it's just the chart stands out, and then sometimes they don't. This really, the trend that we're on right here is this is how you draw a trend line. You'll pick a
JD, are we
point.
supposed to be looking at your chart? Because I can't see it.
Okay. Let me go back to them.
You
Thank you.
said you disabled.
There we go.
All right, now we can see what you're talking about.
All right. Sorry about that. Trend line, guys. You want to go to 2 points on a part, and then you extend it out. So I'm going to start at the top of this peak right here. That'd be my first point. And I mean, I could run the trend line here, but really, that's going to be my trend line. Overall, it's still a bearish trend. I'll put it right there at the top of those peaks. When this chart, and this really, I mean, it's a wedge pattern. If I really want to draw out my technical analysis, as we go in there, and you'll see price condense possibly, and literally price will start breaking the trend line either to the bullish side or to the bearish side right down here. And there's levels of support and resistance where the blue line on my screen is the 50-day simple moving average. You're going to have a couple of types of moving averages. You'll have exponential, and then you have simple. When you see a long-term chart, generally you're going to see it will be the simple moving average. So the 50 is one of the ones that I use I'll put on my chart, and price depends on how it moves. It reacts up and down to this. I, I don't know how I feel about this, but the stay in the news with this, be able to ride the ups and downs, but that dividend could be something of a comfort level for you, Sylvia. And I tell you what, I'll come back around to you. Let me pull up CCL.
Thank you. Actually, you don't even need to go further. I was just watching it. I have not purchased one single stock, so I appreciate your input on that.
Okay, thank you. Give me 1 second. Let me do something. Let me put my headphones on so I don't have any feedback for y'all. Okay. In CCL, and I was looking in the chat, that was from Sin. I think Cindy, or let's see, Cynthia. Sin. And Sin, can you tell me, are you looking for a long-term buy and hold or trade? You want to unmute?
So I've unmuted
Hey,
and thank you for showing me this. I've never done this before, so this is new and I'm excited about it.
okay,
But I only purchased it because I I like to travel.
right,
And so there was no rhyme or reason other than last year when the market tanked. There was an opportunity.
yeah,
But as you know, the cruise lines are slowly, hopefully by the beginning of next month,
yeah,
they'll start cruising again. And
perfect,
so I just purchased it based on that. No market, no analysis or anything. It's just other than, this is something, a lot of times they tell you to buy, stocks based on what you use.
right,
And so I'm a frequent flyer on Carnival.
perfect. That's a rhyme or reason to me. That's a strategy. You're buying what you know, and you're playing the reopening instinct of like, hey, this industry is bound to rebound at some point, and people want to get back out. And I strongly believe that the cruise lines, the airlines, travel, entertainment, the theme parks, they're all going to eventually come back. So what I look at, I found a base. Okay, the little purple area, I've mapped this out for some time. We've When you find a base, that means like price goes down, finds a little bit of support, and kind of hangs in an area. Doesn't really like that's the big bearish. That's the Rona waterfall. That's the sell off. Um, we're trying to slowly mount a resurgence or a build up to a bullish trend, and it's actually a bullish trend right now. And when you see you have higher lows, that's one of the things that I like. It's like the low points; these are all lower lows, and that's something to study a little bit more. But you, I think this is a. Have you established your time horizon? How long you'd like to hold this?
Indefinitely.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
There's no reason for me to
To
get rid
sell.
of it. Like last year, 3 years ago, I purged my entire portfolio for my own reasons, and I kind of
Yeah.
regret it. And so I'm in the rebuilding stage. So
Okay.
there's no reason to get rid of it.
Perfect. Well, let's go right here. Let's pull up Carnival, and I believe Carnival, like okay, everyone, companies like this is a great case study, and thank you very much, Sin. Uh, we have the cruise lines, and then you have the casinos, the gaming sector. And right now, always look when I go to Investors Business Daily. My first thing that I look at, I mean, I can look at the different ratings, but I want to see the accumulation and distribution rating. It's a B minus, but the thing is, what I'm looking for is a green. I want a B or better, and so that means institutions are moving into this over the last X amount of days or months. So it has increased. Let's see one more thing before we move on. Um, of course, the market cap is big. Now, there may be another, how it is with the Delta variant and the coronavirus issues of uh, the next wave here and there. There may be other, like we see those drawdown, and this blue line is the 50-day moving average. If it respects it, a lot of times it could trend and bounce on that, or we come back and down into a little support area right here. Let me draw this support line right there. And guys, support and resistance, it isn't it's not like a brick wall. I always say it's more like a chain link fence or a trampoline where you come down and it doesn't have to hit right on it. It can go a little bit lower or press against it. It's testing levels. So as we zoom in, this was previous high over here. Back what date was this? That's in December of 2020. Move further. We test that with the 50. Tested right in here. Now the next test is this 50, and it could continue to go up, or we know we have support down here. Now, if we break through this little area of support, like the 2460, 2450, we could go down into this area. So, but I mean, the fact that you've established your time horizon of indefinite, you can say, if I like it at 28, I love it at 24, I love it at 21. Now, if there's like some negative breakdown of like, hey, the CEO is under investigation, like Nikola or Lordstown Motors or something like that, to where insolvency is on the horizon. That's a different story. But this Carnival has been it's been around for a long time. You have a good comfort level. I see a good base forming. There's no guarantee of when this thing going to break out, but what I do see is that trend of a consistent uptrend right now. That it's rebuilding, stair stepping its way up, and you can see the chart. As you get a little bit more versed with charting, you can, like right here, there's a consolidation period where not a lot, the trend isn't up or down. It's a little consolidation trading range, trying to break out. And we're going to see over the next few weeks what's going to happen, but it's trying to march its way back up to this level, 4167. I don't know when that's going to happen. That's that Rona. Everybody's trying to recover from Rona, and the cruises have been hit the hardest. So there's a trying to see about that lawsuit in Florida. Keep an eye on that to see about. Let's do the news items before I go to the next one. Lawsuit in Florida was talking about the issues for
The vaccine.
that, yeah, and that
In
they
order
would
for them to
to travel.
disclose, right, in order for them to disclose whether or not they have it, but
Okay.
the thing is, when you go into other countries, it's going to prohibit you from being able to dock into a country if you can't prove or provide some type of proof of your vaccination.
Got it. Well, that's going to be the next headwind or potential, and you're seeing my screen, right? The
Yes.
charts. Okay, perfect. And right here, Carnival discloses breach of personal data on guests.
Mm.
Crew says that's part, and this ties back in, guys. We can piggyback on this as well. I mentioned cybersecurity, how it will affect every sector, subsector, every industry, cybersecurity. So that's one of the areas that I suggest everyone kind of just start digging in and studying a little bit. It's a little pricey in certain ones, but we can, that's something to just add to our bag of our study bag. But
So how do we locate, I guess, tickers that are cybersecurity related?
okay, let's go with this, guys. If y'all have time, let's type in. Let me change the screen. One of the tickers that I'll use Investors Business Daily first, but then I'll give you a list. But Palo Alto Networks is one of the ones that, you know, I wrote about. My friend and I wrote about probably a year ago. And as you go in, it's at 371. But we go down a little bit, and the sector is the computer software security group. And I want to see what the ranking is, how it's going down. And so on this, I'll get a stock checkup on it, and then I'll show you on FinViz, where the free website, how to do it as well. But here's a list of tickers that are very strong composite rating, a lot of good ratings on Investors Business Daily. The top five, yeah, Fortinet, the ticker is FTNT, CrowdStrike, CRWD, Palo Alto Networks, ticker PANW. You also have Zscaler, which I've liked Zscaler, but now I'm not looking at these charts. We're going off of this is just a relative strength list. And I've never traded Mimecast or MIME, but that's one of the ways to look. But we also go to this little website right here. We go back to FinViz. And this is how you can kind of build a list of potentials. Type in PANW, not pawn, PANW. Type that in. We scroll down a little bit, and it says, okay, Palo Alto Networks. We have the ticker. It's on the New York Stock Exchange. It's under the technology, but that's too broad of a title. Software infrastructure. They don't have the security. You go to different locations, and they might label a company or place it in a. They might have it miscast. So we just have to start digging to see if we can get our list. All right, we type in infrastructure, and you're gonna get these. There we go, and it pulls up page of six, list of 6 pages. So what we want to do, we got to filter this out. And remember, I talked about the volume. Oh my goodness, come on now. I don't know how to stop this music. Guys, bear with me. Okay, good. Okay. We're just gonna have to deal with that music.
We're used to the music.
Okay.
We
All
just
right.
play smooth jazz, but we're used to music.
Okay, good. Because I normally have some. I was gonna get the tunes going, but I apologize for that. But here we go. This is this is how I filter it. I'll go current volume. I'm gonna go over 500,000. I went from 6 pages to 4. All right. Go average volume. Let's go above 500,000. Let's go over 750. See if it lowers that down to 3 pages. And then what we're market price. I'm not worried. Market cap. I'm not worried about that. But I want the stock that is optionable and shortable. These are the filters that I put in. Now look, we're down to 3 pages. the price level. Now, I do not trade stocks under 5. Try not to trade them under 10 unless it's a strong company and I catch volume and I catch a good move. Like you catch Ford, you catch AMD at 4, you catch Ford at 8. But let's go over 20. The price is going to be over 20. That should be down to 2 pages. And I tell you what, we're not going to, we want over 30. And now I can just click on the highest volume. I want these companies that are movers. Now we have Oracle. Now Oracle is one that it falls into the different category, but this is one for us to pay attention to. The other stocks, there's not a security tab on here, but we have Crowd that falls into that. Okta, OKTA, add that to your list. Um, let's see. And that's good enough, guys, from the ones that we have. But as we go, if you don't want to pay for your stocks, you can also go to Yahoo Finance and type in like we'll type in PANW again, and then there's a section on there when you scroll down, you'll see people also traded. You know that other little section. Let's get the holders, and it says people also watch right here, and that's within your sector as well. So that's one of the ways to kind of build a list and pay attention to. So we have Fortinet, FireEye, add FireEye to yours, FEYE. Splunk is more of a data aggregator, and that falls with MongoDB, MDB. Those are two you can separate off to the side. I'm not familiar. I hadn't traded cyber, and then add Zscaler. But guys, data, cybersecurity, and data. And I mean, I even trended back to Dick Gregory saying money isn't the most important thing, and book smarts aren't the most important thing, but information, data, that's the new gold. So any company that can aggregate data, get data, have our data, they're the ones that are going to be the most valuable. Look at Apple, look at Google, Amazon. Amazon they track every click we do, and even the stuff that we put in our basket in return. They keep track of that. And during the pandemic, became even more so more important. And companies that house data are really big, and that's why I think I'm big on Bitcoin. I'm big on Ethereum because anywhere the data can be stored is big, and then the security of that data. What kind of data hygiene does that company have? What kind of data practices do they have? Are they protecting our data? Are they forever letting our data get loose? Those are things that we can continue to research, guys. I'm trying not to go down too many wormholes for y'all tonight. Let me flip back to the screen. I hope I helped you with being able to go to some websites and kind of build your list, because there's going to be ideas you have, and you have to be able to vet them and research them, because somebody's going to put a stock on YouTube. They're going to put a stock up on Facebook. They're going to talk about it on Clubhouse. And you're going to be able to go through that thing and say, nah, man, that thing has, let me put up PMT. That only has 150,000 shares on average traded, or 46,000 shares. And when you start seeing those low float stocks or the low daily average daily volume, you can you can protect yourself. That's what we want to do. We want to have a coat of armor around us. We can be prayed up, but Lord, we can also have that position to where we're protecting ourselves by with information. Let's see what this volume is. Okay, we're borderline, but I like this chart. Oh, this is Penny Mac. Hmm. Okay. Okay. I remember. I think Penny Mac. I tried to make a move on Penny Mac a while back when I was messing with the banks. That's Corinthia. Thank you for giving that one. Okay, guys, here's what the setup is, but we're in just not limbo, but it's in a light trading range. Um, and you're looking for a dividend. Okay, for the dividend side of things, okay, I'm good with that as a dividend play, and I'm a trader at heart, so I always check that chart. So the dividend play, let's go. I'm gonna have to go out of here and take a look at the see what the dividend is. But it seems like that you have a good feel for that that company. Guys, don't let if you have it, if you've researched it and there's a reason, a rhyme or reason behind your move, you don't have to defend it. Just but the defense comes is like if you don't have a time horizon. And like you don't have to say I'm have in it for 3 years, but like I'm saying I'm building a position. That's one of the you can tell yourself if we establish that we're comfortable. This dividend, $1.88 annually. That's a strong dividend off of, and I'm not even a dividend player, but I do like that. Uh, let's see. It's a 42-cent mover, so the ATR is very, very it's low, so it's not gonna shake you out. Another thing that you guys want to pay attention to, we pay attention to the earnings date. The last earnings was May 6th, and so we, it's quarterly. So be be prepared for an earnings action. Whether the price is there's certain levels of volatility with earnings, like the high flyers that everybody loves. Those earnings produce high volatile moments and a lot of price action. So you've already had your earnings. I think you'll be comfortable with that. But sometimes listen to that call. Listen to the earnings call or get the transcript. The call is better. We can sit and listen to it and hear them. You can hear what's going on with regards to the outlook because everybody says they can predict an earnings move. Well, there was an upgrade. They beat on the top and bottom. The price should have gone up. There's no shoulda in price action. There's only price is king. Price is what it does what it does because they always say was price art was the earnings report already baked into the price. So just don't predict price. Just we have to react to price or deal with price or allow time to let price just kind of dissipate on us or the shock of a price fluctuation. But we're around the 50-day on Penny Mac, and I don't have a comfort level with trading it, but that your dividend play, if you're doing that, go ahead and I mean, I'm sure you're establishing a long-term play with that, and I like dividend companies. So I think the only headwinds that we may pay attention to are when all the forbearance agreements kind of come to a head, and that could be another opportunity to add to your position right here. The latest news right here. I try to get the news. Trust files for potential mixed shelf offering size not disclosed. Okay, when a lot of companies right now. Here's the next update. A lot of these companies, the meme stocks. Not I'm not just saying this for Penny Mac. This kind of triggered a thought with AMC, GameStop. I wrote them down earlier today. You had Transocean. You have, geez, quite a few other ones. Anything that gets popped on Reddit to where everybody just starts hopping into it, pay attention to that because one of the not a mistakes, but one of the concerns is these CEOs and companies are taking they're doing the smart thing, but it's taking advantage of share offerings. So they're going to saturate the market with shares because sometimes a lot of these companies were headed towards bankruptcy and they could not secure funding through a bank or traditional funding. So they go to the market. The only way to go to the market is you release shares to the market and do a share offering. When they saturate the market with shares, price usually goes down. Sometimes the Reddit army can pump that thing up, but there's a day of reckoning that comes with that, at certain points in time. And right here. It says, right, this perfect. AMC. Troubled companies take page from AMC playbook and seeking stock market lifelines. They will issue shares, and when the short interest is high, they're praying that Reddit catches hold of them, and boom, they can make a move, and the stock price can do a quick spike. And so just be careful if you're in those companies. For and anytime you see share offering or mixed shelf offering, we can go to investopedia.com. That's what I want to show you real quick. Um, that you can find those terms. You can find out what the definitions are. This is the website, investopedia.com, and things like what do we have? First letters D, dollar cost averaging. I already have drip in there. Little things like that. Uh, we can go mixed shelf offering. Just utilize this, and there's a lot of also educational spots, and most of it, and the majority of it is free. Because now, if you start going into the options, guys, please, please, please hold off on that until you decide on what your edge in the market is. When I say edge, are you a fundamental trader? Are you a trader? Are you just using momentum? Are you going to use support and resistance? Are you going to be price action? Are you going to be fundamentally, uh, are you going to be a true technical analyst? Are you going to be Elliott Wave? There's so many different ways. What I did, long term, I can pick them. I sit, and everybody can pick them. We know I like McDonald's. I like I like Disney. I love Apple. I love Tesla. I can deal with that volatility. But when you trade, if I there's so many things that come into play. We have to have that trading plan written out, and discipline, and all of our trading psychology, our mental understanding, and emotional intelligence comes into play. And don't pay the market, because if you don't get trained, you will pay tuition until you blow up the account. A trading plan. uh, let's see. I thought I had one on my website, not website, but on my YouTube page. It's gonna have to come down to what you want. Let's like it just takes time. Let me try to think of a book that you can read. I tell you what, since I'm at a loss for words, let me put my email in there, and I'll have that book for you. JD at That's the hardest part of setting up a trading plan for me was my risk reward, the parameters. But the trading for a living, and trading in the zone. Those are the two books that were really helpful uh, for just building a trading plan and helping me establish, because it's going to have to be one. Like with my options, I have a set delta that I like. I have a set spread, and that I'm like, okay, if it's at this level, I'm good with that. But the thing that governs all of this is going to be the chart, the stock itself. The chart is going to tell me, okay, all right, you're good to go. Let's see what kind of option we can get, and then we move forward. But if you don't have a plan, we're gonna follow somebody into the market. We'll follow them and don't know when they get out. They're like, hey man, buy this. They're like, well, damn, when are you getting out? So you getting in? How many did you buy? And are you watching it all day? Because I got to pick the baby up. So what's it's a lot of holes in those situations when we follow someone else. So what we do is we build a group, we establish our own program, but sometimes, man, there's going to be a group of like-minded individuals that where we can, you get a feel for it. But it has to come down to what we're comfortable with. Let me trust the process. If put the link to the web to my YouTube, because that might be the easiest way for you. Here we go. Hey, good morning, everybody. This is JD, the mobile troops. Let me get y'all there, man. Anyway, um, the videos, I'll put a link to this video right here. So it'll be a lot easier. And then you can just go through there. I have plenty of charting patterns and things like that, but you can find a lot of, there it is. Get a shareable link, and I'll put it right in there. And just kind of dig into those videos if you can. And you should, it's a lot of hours on there, but the titles will kind of give you a breakdown of what's going on in different trading plans. But I prefer that we go long term and establish that, and then try to get a feel for the rhythm of a stock. Pick one or two stocks. Uh, you get a rhythm and to see how it moves. You can write this down again, ATR, and this is how I continue to mention that. It's the average true range right here. We're on FinViz. You type in your ticker, whatever you want to do, it pulls it up. You scroll down, just go over to the right side right here, and final column, ATR, average true range is the average price fluctuation from the low and the high of that trade that day over a 14-day period. On average, we're at 42 cents. We can go there, or you go here on, I think I take that sound off for goodness gracious. All right. I think I'm in there with y'all. Or you go here on this is how I do it on Thinkorswim. You go up to the top, you guys see where Market Watch is, and click Market Watch, and I have everything in here. I'll add it to my watch list. But my first column after the description is going to be ATR. I want to know how this thing moves until you get comfortable with it, and then you realize like Amazon moves $55 a day. But we just saw the other stock that we just talked about, Pennywise. It moves 46 cents a day. So you have to have you got to have got to have your boots tied tight for Amazon. Same with Shopify. You start moving down to Monster and Google, and we go down the list. Chipotle. These are all high flyers. GameStop was moving $28 a day. You hop into GameStop, you better be prepared for a run up, a run back down, and go back outside. And it's like, oh my goodness. So if you're in these, time horizon will help temper that fear, because yeah, it's gonna go down. It might go down 3 straight days, might be down $60 on per share. And that's a killer. If you're in options, it's a wrap. So that's why we don't want to just hop into an options play on the high flyers, or even just you decide you can't just randomly jump in there. Let's make a decision and say, okay, look, I'm willing to deal with the fluctuation of Roku over the next 3 years, because I think Roku has great content. They have great, things like their streaming services. Their membership core group has improved, or increased over the X amount of days or months, or each quarter. I'm looking at this on this is TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. It's a free, you sign up, or you get the account. I mean, you can put $1 in there and you get the access to this trading platform, and I love it. It just takes a little time to get used to. Same with Bitcoin. Everybody trips on Bitcoin. Oh, Bitcoin is down to 35, down to 33. Well, it's not over. I'm not saying put all your money in Bitcoin, but shoot, why not have some? If you got $50, I I think I put $50 in my daughter's account, some years ago. That thing is several $100 now. Or but it could also do the opposite. So we we have to be prepared for the ebbs and flows, ups and downs, and the spikes and dips in prices, because it's just part of the game. It's par for the course. So now my warning for crypto. I think there's like 9,000 coins out there. 9,000. So that means coins and tokens. But to me, the big dogs, the high market cap ones, uh, the ones where you have to, that everybody almost has to use them to get to the other ones, is their Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano's another one. But I'm putting I have money in, I've been in Bitcoin for quite a few years, and same with Ethereum. Um, but it's not something I just go out and recommend. But I also tell people, don't, if you don't understand it, that's not our excuse anymore. We can't leave that. It's like, yeah, that's going to zero. That's a scam. Well, if it's a scam and you really in the market to make money, if you believe it's a scam, there's ways to short the stock or short crypto if you truly believe it, which I don't think people have the guts to do that. Because if you, and then people say stuff with conviction on social media, and then when you call them out to like, hey man, well this we short Bitcoin, is really going to zero, we could make an entire community multimillionaires, and Cat won't reply. So there's a reason behind that, and I think there's going to be one of the things that come down to basic economics with Bitcoin. There's a supply and demand, and they're capping the coins. And the mass adoption has increased. Institutional investors are coming into it. That doesn't mean it's going to stay above 35,000 this month. It might go down to 28,000. But there are a lot of institutions who have moved into it. Even Warren Buffett has purchased a bank out of Brazil that's Bitcoin, that accepts Bitcoin. And at one point, it was like he and Charlie Munger had talked about Bitcoin like it like, I don't know, like they were the ones that robbed the bank, which it kind of is. But last thing on Pennywise, there's a setup right here, guys, for a possible pop, a bullish pop that might occur, because we're in a little bit of a trading range, but there's a chance for a bull flag push. The entry, what's the high right there? 2111. We get above that 2111 handle, it could run it's I mean, it's not a big runner, but you get up there, it's probably gonna tap up here and kind of just still trade around a little bit. But we have bullish momentum, and you have volume and volume increase. So keep calling it Pennywise. I can't stand that movie, but Penny Mac might move up a little bit. Let's see, is there anything else? Any other charts you guys would like for me to look at? So I had a couple that I can give y'all before I'll show you Blink. All right, Blink's a little wild right now. Had a wild ride, but I'll pull. Let's see what the next chart is. Oh, no problem, Dorinthia. But guys, here's the news on Blink. Blink is going to be added to the Russell 2000 index on June 28th. That doesn't mean it's going to go up to the moon, but there's a lot of funds that will have to get in alignment with the Russell, and if they mirror the Russell, they'll add Blink at a certain price. Um, we'll see like that volume spike back here on November 23rd of 2020. 78 million shares were traded, and this is one of the bullish trends that you want to look for when you look at charts, guys. If you see like we can't see what's going on to the right. It's called, if we zoom in, it's called a hard right edge. Everybody can tell you what happens after the fact, but let's say we get right here, we don't know what the next day brings. All we know is what previous levels have done. And Blink is such a new company, you just kind of don't know what's going on. So the volume was like 6 million, 2 million, and all of a sudden you start seeing 13 million. They start jumping in 17 million. This is a bullish breakout. These are called doji candles, DOJI. That's something to study up on your candlestick patterns, guys. When you start seeing dojis on a chart, that means indecision. People don't know what's going to happen next. Uh, you like to see these at the bottom of a trend or top of a trend. It's easy, industrial sector. Ah, I like deer, man. Okay, I got you, Aaron. Give me 1 sec. Breakout. When you see candles large like this, like fingers, that's a bullish run. And then when you see it going up and the volume continues to increase, those are that's a bullish run. Now, if this was going up and the volume was headed down, that would mean price is going up. But one thing that I have on my chart, guys, you can pay attention to this, add this to your study. For me, this is called the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. And you can study that chart, how to operate it, how it operates, but it's called when it's above 70, these are the parameters. 70, when that ticker goes above 70, it's overbought. That means that people have just bought it to almost an extended period, and it's overbought, overextended, and we can see it. And this is how you spot those pump and dumps on the lower charts. When you see it go above 70 and really spike to these levels, you're gonna see like it's almost like when things go parabolic, they don't continue going to the moon. You take your profit, take your bags and go. Let every If it keeps going, let it keep going, and don't get greedy. We have to get out of the market at some point if you're doing a trade, especially with like AMC, GameStop. They all have the same pattern, um, but they're going to hold up for a little bit. So just be careful. The RSI above 70 overbought, below 30 oversold. That doesn't mean when it gets above 70, it's immediately going to go back down. And it doesn't mean when it's below 30, it's going to immediately turn back and go up. But it lets you know, hey, we are in overbought status. Let's be cautious of any movement if I'm a short term trader. If you're a long term trader, you know, you don't really worry about that. You can pay attention and you might find another entry if you're looking 5 years down the road. So that's just something I like to see. If you're going up on increasing volume, that's a good thing. Then this a lot of times this was a pattern too where push up 50% pullback reversal and it ran back up even further. So just I would suggest if you're gonna get into the options, double down on your candlestick studies, whether it's Japanese candlesticks, whether it's it, just candlestick patterns. You can look on YouTube, get you some free studying, but it's gonna take studying on your own. It can't be. I mean, if you have an instructor or pay someone to do it, we still have to dive into it on our own and memorize patterns and things like that. It helps. It does help. But I'm looking for a breakout on Blink right now. Inverse head and shoulders, not the strongest, but if it falls below, I have this line, my pivot point right here set at 38.48. So it falls below 38.50. I'm seeing a bearish case just a little bit down here, and I'll probably hop out of my contracts, my call contracts. But I'm looking for it to break above these levels. So it's kind of in the trading range, just a little bit of consolidation. And we're going to see what's going to happen Monday or next week. But um, we'll see. But let's see what we have. I think deer. Oh, Doge candles. Okay, I got you. Here we go. Sorry about that. DOJI. Doji candle for indecision. And you see them on all charts. You spot them on every chart. Okay. Deer had a serious run up, run. I think right now what's going on with deer is the same thing that's in the construction market and in the lumber sector. If we look at lumber, I'll go back to deer, but just lumber ran up, and just powered up. All of a sudden, most recently, it's pulled back from whence it came, you know. And if you look at the RSI, power moved to the downside. So let's go back to deer, and you have it in your IRA, man. Deer's just a strong long-term buy and hold. I think it's, but let's go and zoom in a little bit more. That's It's broken below the 50 day. But, and like I said before, guys, support and resistance is not going to be just like a brick wall. You're going to get a, hold on one second. Probably didn't mute the other mic, but that's a little support area. This is a light demand zone. We have a shelf. If you see right here where price kind of ran up, stopped again, pulled back, broke above it, came back down as this little area. So we have light support here, have a breakout from this area and the topping pattern. And let's go to one more thing before I forget, and I'm gonna wrap in a second, but let me show you guys on this other website. We have to know about market cycles because it helps us it helps us to kind of calm down. Wyckoff phases right here. Pull it up on the screen. Okay, the Wyckoff market phases, and I'm pretty sure y'all can see it. This is key. Accumulation during this phase, market prices bottom out and form a broad basing pattern. We saw that basing pattern in Carnival Cruise, and this is basically a bear market bottom. A lot of times you don't get a V-shaped recovery. We had that with certain stocks in Corona, and now they're retesting. The markup phase is where market prices rise. This is the bull market stage, which is characterized by market rallies and market corrections. It's also, and they misspelled distribution, but it's also where you get irrational exuberance, where everybody thinks it's just going. They always say to the moon, going to the moon. Yeah, we're not. We couldn't. We haven't even gone back to the moon in real life. So I'm not seeing a stock run to the moon, but things go parabolic, they correct. When they go parabolic, that means going straight up, like just 90-degree angle. That's an unsafe. Take your profit if you're in it on a short-term pattern. Um, that 45 to 50-degree angle, those are pretty good angles to as a slow and steady moves or wins the race. Distribution. During this phase, market prices top out and form a broad pattern up at the top. We can see these, you can see these patterns all the time on every time frame, but mostly on the daily and the weekly chart. This is basically a bull market top. Next move, mark down. This phase is where market prices decline. This is the bear market stage, which is characterized by market declines and bear market rallies. So let me get the picture. There it is right there. That's what we want to see. The accumulation phase where it's kind of in a range, it's going sideways or horizontal. Then you get a breakout. When you get a breakout on price, guys, above previous levels, a lot of times we go back down and test that previous breakout level for what was previously resistance. We need to see if it's going to act as support. Then you're pushing up. This is the markup phase, but during that time it hits, it can't just keep running up. It has to rest a little bit. So you get up, go into a trading range, and you repeat this same level again, the reaccumulation. You get to a certain level, people will take profit, and there's corrections, there's pullbacks, and sometimes there's sell-offs. And it's just part of it's the nature of the beast. But you'll get this trend, and it will reverse. It'll it repeats. It's a replicable trend, and we need to know that because it'll keep us from panicking. Because sometimes, a lot of times, we're buying up here. When we really catch that, if you get wind of what's going on, like, hey, hop into this stock, you get it up here and buy GameStop at 350, GameStop at 356 or whatever. That sucker will go back down to 180, and like, oh my goodness. Then you sell, and we're selling right to the people who are waiting in the demand zone. So that's the retail investors trend. And they always say that the institutional investors are smarter, but we're adding our knowledge to become fluent in the market cycle, and we can follow the big money too. there's a lot of information out there. So pay attention to the Wyckoff market phases, guys. And if anybody has another stock, I can do one more. And if not, man, email me. I'll send. I'll add you to the email list, and what I can do is if I normally run Zooms a lot more than I'm on Clubhouse because I think people need to see it more. It's just so much easier to do that now. It takes a long time to teach options. It takes a long time. I mean, it's to the charting. So I just want you guys to go to YouTube, look up the candlestick patterns, and you study that and just keep looking and looking and looking and get comfortable with picking up patterns like this right here. I'll finish this up right here. Visa trend lines, support and resistance. I'm gonna get the higher lows. That's what you want in a bullish trend. You get when it's really going, you get higher highs, higher lows, but you want to get the anatomy of a candlestick. That's going to be big, guys.
JD put us
Yeah.
back on the
Oh man, I thank you. Okay, I'm gonna get it right. There we go. Thank you so much. Okay, you can see patterns. We can see certain things coming up to a head, but right now, Visa is in a bullish trend. Bullish trend, but within a bullish trend, you're gonna see markups, markdowns, and if you have a longer term time horizon, you won't panic during that because if we back out and really take a look at it, we'll say, okay, it's it's kind of hard to see right here, guys. But the fact that I look at these bottoms and the bottoms are increased, they're higher. If it was down here, we're in a bearish trend. And a lot of times you'll have lower highs going in that direction. So just right here, Lordstown Motors. Everybody wants to try to get on, catch something at the bottom and sell at the perfect top, and we can't time that market. But if you set a trend line, you can catch when it breaks that trend. You can say, okay, it might be time to take profit or get out or be careful. And then if it breaks one trend line and then it breaks a moving average, a lot of times they say the bottom falls out. So guys, I tell you what, that's going to be probably it for tonight. I recorded this. I'll post it to YouTube, and you guys can reference it. Hopefully, it'll be some help. So, man, I'm draining. Thank y'all for coming in tonight. I'll get on. I'll probably get on Clubhouse over the next couple of days. So, but
Thank you, JD.
oh, no problem. Thank y'all for coming out, and I will see y'all soon. And I'll put this on YouTube. All right, y'all have a great night and be safe.
You too, and happy Father's Day again, sir.
Oh, thank you. All right. Trying to close it.